just even how you even advocate in those spaces. So I just want to say thank you for that. So we are here today, and I am here as the sister had shared earlier, my 6 months as a St. Paul City Councilwoman for my hometown, place I was born and raised in, the home of Rondo. Many people know me as the daughter of Rondo. I like to say the homegirl of Rondo, just because what I do is goes beyond just the sentiments of or concerns for the constituent. It's about ensuring that we're investing, for generations to come. And I just want to, before I even start, just give thanks to the organizers who coordinated this event and even made this space possible. Organizers, raise your hands. Say yes, yes, yes. We have to give thanks. We have to give thanks because they're the ones that keeping this light going, keeping the flame lit for us to continue, not only for conversation's sake, but strategy sake. We're networking, we're organizing, we're exchanging information to ensure that the next generation doesn't have to fight for reparations, but maintain and preserve, reparations. And it's also important, I think about one of my inspirations, my heroes is Ella Baker, Miss Josephine, Ella Baker Josephine. And she has a quote that says, "Be the light and the people will follow." And she grew up in a time where it was really dangerous and you felt the face of fear and tyranny when black folks, descendants of slaves, just a few generations away from legalized slavery, had the audacity to want to vote, had the audacity to want to own their own land, had the audacity to see themselves as humans, right? But yet, um, she saw the light in young people. So I'm so happy to see that there's young people here today because this is how we really are going to make change. And showing that, we're telling young people to trust their light and for them to share their light and for us to ensure that what we have and what we build is going to be passed to the next generation. So, within my first day of office, I was faced with the moral judgment that I measured myself by, and it's like two sides of a coin, and that is to be my ancestors' wildest dreams or my ancestors' wildest nightmares. And that's a big responsibility to hold, right? And we are here today, and I'm here today in my capacity as a leader and a fierce advocate for reparations to ensure that we are organizing to recognize, reclaim, and repair for the next generation to build and for the next generation to have a fair start at building wealth. Notice I said to have a fair start because sometimes in policy world and I also often in like nonprofit world we use those type of terms of saying have access, right, or have the opportunity to, and there's too much wiggle room with that, right? Because if you have the opportunity, when the door is open and there's resources and wealth in that room, we know 9 times out of 10, our young people and people who look like us aren't told about those resources. They're not engaged about those resources. But yet, what I see, some of the challenges that government deals with is we invest so much in opportunity and not strategic, intentional, direct investment. So when we're here talking about reparations here at St. Paul, it's so important that we have the language, not of fairness, not of opportunities, not probably, not potentially, not maybe, but I was elected to ensure right. that reparations is going to be invested, and that we set a table and a foundation, and we put our money where our values are into what we believe. So it's also important around when we think about reparations, having the historical context. And, we're all here, we understand reparations, the background of it, and the case for reparations, so I'm not going to preach the choir. But I am going to just give you a little bit for something, for you to go away with when it comes to what leadership looks like in terms of advocating for reparations. So within my first 2 months in office, was able to pass a resolution to permanently restore Rondo Avenue. And for some people, thank you. And for some people who may not know the history of Rondo, it's a historic black neighborhood that my lineage comes from, which was destroyed and disrupted through the the implementation of Highway I-94. And it had disrupted, removed and destroyed hundreds of homes, of businesses, and estimated of $82 million worth of wealth that was just totally garnished, totally just disrupted. And it also displaced thousands and thousands of people. And my grandparents was a result of that. They were impacted by that. That's why, especially for people who know, growing up in St. Paul is always this St. Paul, Minneapolis, little rivalry. But I never really dealt with that because even though my lineage was in St. Paul, a lot of my family members moved to Minneapolis. So we have family on both sides of the river. And, with doing that, it was a first step to having a conversation around Rondo is more than just a street, more than just like the avenue. It's more than just a conversation of the past. Rondo is an investment for the future and generations to come. And shaping not only policy to be invested in that idea, but bringing more partners to the table, getting our philanthropy on board, getting our community on board, getting our faith leaders on board, and most importantly, getting our economic development leaders on board as well, because when we talk about reparations, it's an economic conversation. And also another thing in recognition, when my time on city council, it's been so interesting because I have built this reputation where I am actually going above and beyond of recognizing Black history and Black leadership. It's kind of funny because I'm also called the recognition queen. And I kind of like it. It has a ring to it. But since I've been in office, it hasn't been a month or 2 weeks without me recognizing an organization or a leader or a holiday. We just recognized Black Music Month and have highlighted not only the incredible poet Kendrick Lamar, but highlighted also other hip hop leaders, music, art organization founders. We recognized Juneteenth. It was the first time, I couldn't believe it, in the city of St. Paul that we formally recognized Juneteenth as a holiday. Also recognizing Black History Month and countless leaders. And, I'll leave with this, right? When I think about just the essence of the case that we're making for reparations, rooted in slavery and rooted in so many harms that have been mentioned and will be mentioned in the future, it's important that we think about the framework of how we talk about reparations and the entity that and who we're talking about it to. And particularly as a city council member, it's really important that we take the time to examine those policies, right? Because here in Minnesota, as we all know, racism has not been as overt, right? In other places, like down south and even Midwest. But what is overt and what we feel is that discrimination when it comes to housing, right? Someone may not have like poor colored or white only signs on the housing, but when you actually put your application for rent and it doesn't match your income, and you're not getting those opportunities to be able to work and have a career with that income, that feels very overt. And often, we are like battling through people's rhetoric, right, around like this thing of, people need to just pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And I got to a place where it's just like we're always having to fight the rhetoric of, well, reparations is like a handout, or why don't people just work for a job? Why do they want anything free? But when people say pull yourself up by the bootstraps, we often don't give credit to the person who actually made the bootstraps. Exactly. Okay, we don't give credit to people who actually built the manufacturing, the companies for the bootstraps, for the boots. And for too long, we don't give credit where credit has, for centuries, been due. And we are not asking for a handout. We aren't even asking for like, hey, we want dignity, because that was what the civil rights movement was about. We're saying we want the fruits of our ancestors' labor, so the generations to come can have a fair and equal playing field. And I just want to thank, Chair Sergeant Cruz, and we have other commissioners here as well, and I see Jeremy English as well in the back, and we have other commissioners. You want to raise your hand? Yes. Thank you. Those are the commissioners for the St. Paul Recovery Act, which we established and made permanent. And I also want to share that we have seen their leadership, and they had put in a request. They had their first recommendation to the council, and someone who has a background in community organizing and advocacy, I just want to say thank you for recognizing your power, because you do have that power based off the ordinance. I'm putting in the request for $500,000, and I'm here to share with you, within 2 weeks, that resolution will be on the agenda, and we will be talking about how we're going to secure those funds so the Reparations Commission has money invested so they can do their jobs, right? And that their job is to examine and come back to us and give recommendations on how the city should be investing in reparations in the future. So I just want to say thank you for that. And last but not least, we have had these conversations in book clubs on a grassroots level, and also been part of conversations at in Geneva at the United Nations, was able to meet organizations and leaders on the international stage who are advocating for reparations. And I have been, trying my best. I wouldn't say trying. No, I am doing my best. Not that for myself. I'm doing my best in terms that we have the partnerships to ensure that we have the protections necessary to make sure reparations is alive and thriving, particularly in St. Paul. So again, my office is always open. I think, as we are advocating, there's so many different ways that we can engage. I am open for interns. If people want to bring their studies and their reports and their work, we welcome that. If you want to have an internship in my office, that's always open. We're also open to, ensuring that we're creating more conversations. If you want me to come and host a conversation and bring our commissioners, that's always an opportunity. If you want to host us in your hometown, we love traveling. Please invite us and recommend us to see how other cities and other countries are doing reparations. And also, continuing the conversation in different ways. I see a group of young people here. I think the power that you have is you're able to reach people that we can't, right? I can't. You have a network of people, and there's power in people, right? right? So like sharing and educating with them about what reparations is key. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone that's here. We're going to ensure that conversations keep going and making sure that our leaders are staying focused when it comes to the conversation around reparations. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member Bowie. We